Hello students and welcome to the world of science. Life processes in living organisms, lesson number 15 of standard 9th science 2. Lecture number 1 of this chapter. Myself Kavita Kobarne from Gokhale Education Society's English Medium High School is going to present this to all. We have learned different systems in our body. Digestive system and respiratory system together they are doing the work. Digestive system is giving us the energy from the complex food and the respiratory system is giving the oxygen. Both are transported via blood throughout the body to each cell. In the same way, the farmer also tries to transport the water from wells or the dams through a main channel to every plant. In the picture you can see like this, they are doing the system or arrangement to just make the water reach to each and every plant so that they can grow well. By transportation, a substance either synthesized or absorbed in one part of a body reaches another part easily. You know, plants do not move from their places. They do not require high energy. They need inorganic substances like nitrogen, phosphorus, magnesium, etc. These all substances, they get it from the soil. It is done by the roots. They transport it to the other parts. Specific conductive tissues of xylem and phloem carry out this transportation. The xylem is for conduction of water and the phloem is for conduction of food. Here in front of you, the picture of the root is just showing how the water is absorbed in the roots. Here, the root cells are in contact with the water and minerals in the soil. Water and minerals enter the cell on the root surface due to the differences in concentration. Means if inside the concentration is less in the root, then the water from the outside will enter through that root hair. Once the water enter into the cell, it becomes turgid, means tight it is. It exerts a pressure on the adjacent cell and this is called as a root pressure. Under the effect of this pressure, water and minerals reach the xylem of the root and to reduce these differences in concentration, they are continuously pushed forward. In the diagram you can see here that the water is just transported from the root hair, then it is going to the cortex, then to the pericycles and then to the xylem and it is going up. When water moves up in the xylem, the pressure in the roots is reduced. So it again absorbs more and more water and minerals from the soil. As a result of this continuous movement, a water column is formed which is continuously pushed ahead. It is going up and up. This pressure is sufficient to lift the water up in the shrubs, small plants and small trees. Next is transpiration pull. Plants give out water in the form of water vapor through the stomata on their leaves. Two cells called the guard cells are present around the stomata. See in the figure, you can see the stomata, the opening is there and next to it two guard cells are there. These cells controls the opening and closing of stomata. Transpiration occurs through this stomata. Water is released into the atmosphere by leaves through the process of evaporation. As a result, water level in the epidermal layer of leaf decreases. In the diagram, you can see here that the epidermis layer of the leaf is there. There the water is decreases. Water is brought up to the leaves through the xylem so as to compensate the water loss. Transpiration helps in absorption of water and minerals and distribution to all parts of the leaves, whereas root pressure performs the important role of pushing the water up during the night time. If you observe the diagram carefully, the arrows are shown over here and this is just explaining the transpiration process in leaf. Along with water, other food products and other substances are just transported in plant. Translocation is the process of transporting. The food which is produced in the leaves is transported to each cell in the plant body. Excess of food except amino acid is stored in roots, fruits, seeds, etc. That's why you can see the pulp in the fruit. They are growing in size. Translocation is carried out in both upward and downward directions by the phloem. Translocation is an energy requiring process which consumes the ATP. You have learned the ATP, that is the adenosine triphosphate molecules. When sucrose is transported via phloem towards a part of plant, the water concentration decreases in that part, resulting into entry of water in the cell by diffusion. Means wherever it has go to reach, that part's pressure has to be decreased. Then only that water pressure will increase there. The cellular contents increase and create a pressure on the cell wall. Due to this pressure, the food is pushed into the neighboring cells having a lesser pressure. You have learned the diffusion, more pressure and greater pressure, so that they can enter into each other. In this way, the phloem transport the materials in the plant as and when needed. The sugar produced by plant is transported to buds so that they can bloom into a flower. In short, it means if any part of a plant which required a food, there the pressure will be decreased, and then the water concentration is there, it will decrease, and as a result the water enters the cell by the process of diffusion, and which carries the food material along with it. So wherever it is decreased, it reaches there and give the food to that part. So it is called as a pressure flow hypothesis. Means higher to lower it will go. Lower will not go to the higher one. Higher pressure will go to the lower pressure area. Now we will see excretion in plants. As the plants absorb the things, they give out the excretory products into the nearby soil. In some plants, waste is in the form of calcium oxalate crystal. It is called as a raphids. Just it is needle shaped and therefore hurt and cause itching when it is eaten up. Example is colocasia leaves and the outer skin of onion. They carry this oxalate crystal. Some plants waste are useful to human beings such as rubber, latex, gum, resins, essential oils like eucalyptus or sandalwood oil. They are waste product but useful to human beings. Rubber latex is used to produce the gloves. Now in corona it will be required a lot. Next is excretion in human being. The process of digestion leading to energy production is an important process of our body. Various waste materials are formed during this process. So removal of this waste from the body is very important, and it is the excretory system that carries out this function. The human excretory system consists of a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters, urinary bladder and urethra. Urine is formed by the kidneys. Kidneys filter out nitrogenous waste products and other unwanted substances from the blood and forms the urine. Here is our kidney, that is a bean-shaped kidney. We have the two kidneys. These two kidneys are on the on the either side of the vertebral column. Means vertebral column is in the middle. On both the side the kidneys are there. And along with that, it is on the posterior side of abdomen. Posterior means it is on the back side of our stomach. Our right kidney is in a slightly lower position than the left kidney. Otherwise, both the kidneys are of same size. Now see what else is there in the kidney. Here we are having the renal artery and renal vein. So from one it is just supplying the impure blood, and from the other it is just collecting out the pure blood. Inside that you will see the renal pelvis is there, then the medulla is there and the cortex is there. In the cortex the purification takes place. From the cortex it is coming in the medulla, and from the medulla it comes in the renal pelvis, and the urine is just given out in the ureter, and the remaining blood it is from the renal artery and renal vein. That is the impure and pure blood is given to the proper arteries here. The approximately 5 liters of blood which is present in our normal healthy person's body is filtered by kidney about 400 times every day. Thus, every day the kidney filters about 190 liters of blood, from which 1 to 1.9 liters of urine is formed. The remaining liquid is reabsorbed in the excretory system. Now we will see exactly the filtration process where it takes place. The functional unit of kidney that performs the basic filtration is called the nephron. Here in front of you the figure or the structure of nephron is there. which is present in the cortex, and the conducting or the collecting duct which is there, it is there in the medulla, and from the medulla it is collected into the renal pelvis, and the urine is just move forward here. Now what happens in this, first we will see here. Here you can see 2-3 things. First one is Bowman's capsule. You will see the proximal convoluted tubule which is called as a PCT. The third one is the distal convoluted tubule, that is called as a DCT, and the fourth one is the collecting duct. So like this it is divided into 4 parts, we can say. Okay, and now these 4 parts are performing the filtration process. Bowman's capsule has semi-permeable membrane with pores. It means it can allow some of the particles to pass out from it. Now the molecules of water and some other molecules can pass through these pores. The solution remaining in the Bowman's capsule enters the uriniferous tube or the nephron. Nephron, then the 4 parts which I just told, the step by step the process take place over here. Here in the figure you can see Bowman's capsule is having 2 afferent and efferent nerves are there. From the afferent the blood is coming here, and from the efferent it is just passing out to the next. It is just covering the nephron, it is just along the nephron the winding is there. Okay, so the filtration takes place and then it goes into that nerves here. In the Bowman's capsule there is a capillary network that is called as a glomerulus. The red color network nerves, they are reabsorbing the nutrients from this nephron, which is you can see around the full nephron it is there. Now from the Bowman's capsule, the next one it moves to the proximal convoluted tubule, it is, which is called as a PCT. Here the absorption of the chlorine ion, sodium bicarbonate, amino acid took place. After PCT, it moves to the loop of Henle. Here in loop of Henle, the water which is useful to the body, it is reabsorbed into the capillaries it is, and then it will move next to the distal convoluted tubule. In DCT also, that is distal convoluted tubule also, the reabsorption of some of the useful materials and the water is take place, and the waste part is just moved towards the collecting duct, and from the collecting duct the urine is formed. Okay, and that is carried out to the medulla, then to the renal calyx, and from there it is just given to the ureters. Then from the ureter it is just taken to the and stored it in the urinary bladder. Urinary bladder is a muscular bag-like structure. Also it is under the control of voluntary nerves. From the urinary bladder, urine goes out of the body through the urethra. So kidneys are the main organs of excretion in human beings, but the skin and lungs also help in the process of excretion of waste product from your body. See the full kidney here, the 2 kidneys, urethra and ureter. What happens actually, in short we can see that in the cortex, that the glomerulus and the nephron is there, the purification takes place, then it comes to the medulla, from there it comes into the pelvis, and from there it is coming to the ureter, that is the tract which is collecting the urine, and it comes into the urinary bladder, and from that it is just given out through the urethra. In between 2 kidneys you can see 2 blood vessels are there. One is inferior vena cava and the other one is the dorsal aorta. One is supplying the impure blood to the kidneys and the other one is just collecting the pure or the purified blood from the kidneys, and it is given back to the body. The urea produced in the liver comes into the blood, and when urea containing blood comes into the glomerulus, it is filtered through its capillaries, and the urea and other similar substances are separated from it in kidney. Just we will take a recap of the lesson. What we have learned in this, we have learned the transportation of water in plants, how the water is transported from roots to the upper parts. Then we have learned about the root pressure, how the root pressure is created, and this root pressure only is just transporting the water. It is creating the water columns in the plants, and then it is just going up. So higher pressure to the lower pressure. In the roots, the low pressure is maintained and then the water enter into the roots. There the root pressure works. Then we have learned about the transpiration. That is the excess of water in the plant. It is given out through the opening that is called as a stomata in the leaf in the form of water vapor. Then we have learned excretion in plants. Excretion in plants, they have the vacuoles to store the waste products. But when the vacuoles is filled, the empty space it is filled, then it is just thrown out of the body in the form of gum, resin and other things. And the excretion in human body, that is the urine formation takes place through the blood. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you all have understood it very well. We will be meeting soon in the next lecture of this chapter. Till then, goodbye and take care.